fellow network engineers. Today is the 20th of December, Sunday, just a few days away from Christmas. And I hope you and yours are excited and ready, and I hope you're able to take a break from your jobs and the stresses of life and enjoy family during these times. So this video I'm going to cover is going to cover and focus on salary. Motivator for most getting into an engineering role, network engineering, is the money. The question that always comes out of the community, through social media, colleagues, is how much can you expect to make as a network engineer? The answer, which no one likes, is it depends. So it depends on a lot of things, right? It depends on where you live in the world, right? Because the cost of living, just like with any other job, is going to drive up the expected and the average salary for that area of the world, right? So if you're living in California, near LA, San Francisco, you can expect your salary to be a lot higher than if you were living in somewhere in Kansas, okay? So that's the very first thing, the cost of living, where you're at geographically. The other element is, or the factor is experience. How experienced are you? How many years do you have as a network engineer? Help support desk. That's going to drive the decision and the offer from your potential employer. And then certifications. I'm a believer that certifications get you the interview, and your knowledge and experience get you the job. But to get in the door and be able to sit down with a hiring manager and a director and whoever that you may be reporting to, or HR, is those certifications is what's going to trigger and what's going to catch those HR screenings through resumes and so forth. Okay. Education. It's not always something that's talked about in the industry, but I can tell you the difference between somebody with a college degree that can speak and write very well can be the deciding factor over someone who doesn't have a college degree and can't speak, can't write. When I say write, email very well. So that needs to be something that's also noted. Also with that, if your intent later on, maybe it's not now, but maybe it will change, you intend on segueing into management from an engineer, having that degree is going to set you apart from your peers and make you more marketable. So if you have the opportunity, the means, the motivation, the time, which in some cases you won't have any of those, but if you end up finding any of those, if not all of them, go get your college degree, finish it, right? At least your bachelor's. And then the last factor that I think is very important is how you market yourself, right? How much time do you spend on your resume? Do you engage with headhunters and recruiters on LinkedIn, on Glassdoor? Are you going to job fairs? Are you making good contacts? And more importantly, I think most importantly, is that when you're at a job and you're a network engineer and you decide that you want to leave that job and go somewhere else, what are the basic, fundamental, best practices of leaving that job? Very first thing is 2 weeks notice, right? Regardless of the circumstance, situation, unless it's dire need to get out of there, or you're going to miss an opportunity if you don't leave that company right away, you have to give them a 2 weeks notice, right? That's standard, that's customary, that's out of respect, and that gives them some time to try to backfill your position. Now, have I ever seen that happen where I'm leaving a company, I give them 2 weeks notice, and they have 2 weeks to find someone else, a resource to fill my position, and they do? No, absolutely not. Chances are they are going to try to survive without you for a period of time and kind of let things marinate on that team, right, that you're leaving. Because we're not cheap, right? Especially if you know what you're doing. There's a price tag that comes with that. But it's standard practice. Now, what does that do? I don't know about you, but I'm in the Phoenix area. The community is very small. So when I am leaving one job to go to another, chances are I'm going to cross paths with somebody that I had worked at a previous job or job before that, or work with somebody who has worked with somebody that I happen to be working with right now, right? It's a very small community, so you have to be careful there. So what am I getting at? Don't burn your bridges. Don't pretend like you will never see the organization or the people in it that you are leaving. Pretend like you're going to be back in 5 years if you never do, okay? Because your reputation will follow. All right. Word of advice for you. All right. Some other things to think about as you're hunting for that great network engineering job and you're looking for that best salary is if you end up going to a smaller company versus a larger company, you may find salaries on one side of the spectrum than the other. Smaller companies have less to spend, but at the same time, smaller companies may have few resources. Yeah, so larger versus smaller, right? At the end of the day, smaller companies are going to have less money. It's just it's math, right? It's economics. Larger companies have more. Now, in a larger company, you might find yourself on a large team of many network engineers with varying experience in education and certifications, and even different job roles, where some of the engineers, they do nothing but wireless, and others do nothing but management of firewalls, and then route switch, and then on the ISP side. And then you may have a small company where you're that guy, or you're that guy of two, and you do everything. Wi-Fi, route switch, firewalls, everything, right? So it just depends. One of the kind of the ways of getting hired into a company that organizations like to go with is this kind of try before they buy concept. So they'll do contract to hire. And contract to hire can do a couple different things, but two in particular, their intent that I've lived personally is, the one is they want to know what you're made of, right? They want to know, okay, before we extend an offer for a large salary to this engineer, what are we looking at, right? Is he that good, right? He did well in the interview. He spoke well. His resume looks great. He's got certifications, education experience, great. But in 6 months, are we going to be like, man, we hate this guy, or you can't get along with him, or he's horrible at communication, or he's not consistent, right? And not enough to fire me, but enough to say, maybe we should have rethought this. That's kind of the try before you buy concept. So contract to hire, you can negotiate that hourly rate. Usually it's a recruiting company that you're going through. They have found you working on behalf of a company that you would go work for. But when you fill out your time card each week, it actually goes to your recruiting company, and then they get paid by that company, and then you get a portion, right? Whatever you negotiate. So it allows them to kind of observe you and evaluate you before they commit. And it also allows you at the same time, right? If you do a contract for 6 months, you can say, okay, in 6 months, is this really what I want? Do I like working? Do I like people? Are the technologies where they need to be so I can stay fresh in the industry, and so forth and so on. So it's not just the employer side, it's also the employee. Okay? And then, of course, even with experience and education, certification, and how you market, what position are you falling into? Because I am, myself personally, I'm a senior network engineer. And I was at one time just an engineer, so junior engineer. But when I go other places, I may interview for just a standard network engineer. It may not have that senior title, because when I go there, it may be filled with a team of CCIEs. Those are considered senior network engineers. And then it's a relative statement at that point for a title. So junior, just standard network engineer with no title, or senior network engineer is the roles that I've served, as well as architect. So there's a lot of things to consider. I think at the end of the day, realize that network engineers are a different breed of technologists. They're different from system and Linux and security and admins, help desk. They're very different. I think they think different. They even look different. And their attitudes are a lot different. I've seen some exceptional ones that do very well. And I've seen some ones that are great at the technology, but horrible with just working with the day-to-day operations of the business and just what I call playing the game. So considering everything, I will go over just some of the salaries that I've seen in the past personally. So I did some time in the military. A lot of experience, came out with my CCNA, had a couple of CompTIA certs, Net Plus, Security Plus, A Plus. And I actually finished my CISSP at that time as well. So I came out, did a contract to hire. I was making $55 an hour. And then when they extended the offer, I came in about $92K. Okay, so I was about 32 at the time after my time in the military. So not too bad, 92. And then my next job, I went up to 6 figures, and then thereafter continue to get a bonus. Now, here's the thing, for an increase in salary. Some would say that they will never take a pay cut, ever. If they start at 120 and they go to the next job, they're expecting 125, 130, and that's what they'll ask for. That's what they expect, and they want it less. I would encourage you to really think about long-term planning, and that every job is a new opportunity. Every job is going to be different. You are going to get your hands on different technologies. You may go to one organization and it's FirePowers, Cisco FirePowers, and another one may be Palo Alto, and then FortiGate, and then Checkpoint. And you have to understand that if you spend 6 years at a company working on Cisco ASA firewalls, and you go somewhere else and drop into Palo Alto 3260s, I'm assuming you're not going to be as versed and comfortable in a Palo Alto as you were in an ASA, right? You have to tell yourself that, okay? Does that mean you can't get by and kind of fake it till you make it and work through it? Yeah, firewalls are firewalls. Everybody knows that. But understand that what I'm getting at, don't pass up an opportunity of a job where you can expand your horizon and enhance your toolkit so that your next job is even more of a greater adventure and you're sitting in a more senior role, okay? If you are at a job where you're, the best way I can put it into context is back to the Cisco ASA. Let's say you're running Cisco A 5585s, SSP 60s. That's your job. And you've been doing it for 10 years and you're amazing, right? And by the way, the end of life and support just came out for the SSP 60. So, and then you get a job offer to go work on PA, or we'll say FortiGates, 1000s. And they tell you that we see that you don't have any experience, but we understand that firewalls are firewalls, but we cannot increase your pay because you're at a senior status as a network engineer, but not on the FortiGates, right? Would you still take that job? Now, circumstances drive everything, but I can tell you, if you have opportunities to expand and grow in different technologies and platforms, don't let money drive your career. Don't let money drive your career. You drive your career, and the career will bring the money. So I hope this has been informative. I really thank you for watching today. Again, happy holidays. Subscribe, hit that notification button, and I will see you next time.